we are talking about the Celestine prophecy and the 12 insights. And I cannot recommend any higher this book, even though it came out a long time ago. It still resonates today with what's going on today. And one of the parts that I thought was great is that this is a story that is weaved through while people are discovering these insights. So again, it is one of the books that I put really as high as any on my list of ones that I not only enjoyed, but I felt really had an influence on me. So James, if you could share with us a little bit about, just a little bit, because I think we've only got about 20 minutes or so. So yeah, we've only got about 20 minutes, but just touch on the insights just enough so people have an idea of what we're talking about.
Sorry, I'm making noise here. The insights again are understandings that elevate, that we're discovering, that elevate our general level of experience and excitement about being alive, because that's our natural birthright. The first thing to understand about the world, the first insight, is that mysterious coincidences happen in life that are designed as help. In other words, mysterious coincidences bring us information just the right time if we're alert, and if we strike up, make the conversation, if it's from a person, go deeper, find out the real meaning for your life. Because this is called, Carl Jung coined this word, synchronicity. The universe is synchronized so that the people you meet in life, going to work or taking your walk, they're all have meaning. And what happens is, in conversations, we trade ideas about our lives and share our life experiences, and suddenly we have a synchronicity. Wow, I was just thinking about changing careers and going into teaching, and this is suddenly I'm listening to this retired teacher say about what's key to be fulfilled in the gift of teaching. So these are the kinds of synchronicities that are waiting for us. Now, we have to know other things about the world in order to really make use of these synchronicities, to have enough of them, to have a flow of them. The second insight is to understand that if you look back in the history of human progress, the people that provided all the steps in human consciousness, where we invented nation states, and we started to build the basis of a global awareness of each other and acceptance of that. Every biography that you read has dozens of mysterious coincidences that led the person into the life that they led, and usually into the mission that they accomplished while they were here. So it's really about stepping into your own way to help the world evolve positively. The third insight is probably one of the most important, because it's an understanding of karmic design. So and it works this way. The whole karmic structure in this spiritual world that we live in is around the idea of giving. In other words, something happens when we give, when we think about intuitively how I can help this person that I may not know, but I'm suddenly thrown into a conversation with, or some sense. We all get, and humans do this automatically, but we're making it more conscious. We start to talk about our own life journeys to other people. Why? Because we have an intuition that this might be interesting to the other person. What does the other person say very often? I needed to hear that right now. How you handle this problem, boy, that helps me, because I'm facing a similar problem. Now, all you knew is you got the hit intuitively to share something with the other person. Okay, but that's the coordination between humans that is ready to be to be aware of. Some of these insights would change the world immediately, just one of them. Mm-hmm. But what happens at the third insight is you understand karma. And it's why we should stay on the light side of life, not the dark. Because if you're a giver and want to help people, and you're giving that a lot of attention, what happens is you attract more givers into your life. Anyone can prove that this is true. In fact, if you talk to any shopkeeper, that's been successful, they'll say, I had to take care of my customers. If I don't, they won't come back. They won't spread the word. So it's eminently provable that taking the time to help others is dramatically life-changing, because all of a sudden, these other people, you draw them into their lives, they show up in your lives to give to you. Givers attract givers. Now, if you're a taker, and all the ways the dark side takes, whether you're manipulating somebody to get energy from them, or recognition, or you're selling them something they don't need, or you're just otherwise leading them astray because of some hidden agenda. If you're a taker, your synchronistic flow is going to slow back down, because you draw into your life more takers. And so that's a big wake-up call for any of us that unconsciously take, so it's not staying in alignment with karma changes your life immediately. And again, people have to become conscious of this, conscious of how they take, how they don't look out for the other people in their lives. But what you do, you prove it to yourself immediately. Life improves, because you get these little miracles that come in time. Even before you have a problem, you get a solution. So it's very, very interesting to prove this out for yourself.
Yeah. And let me interject something in regards to that, because I found one of the things is absolutely what you say is that, the more that you give, the more givers that come in. It doesn't mean that takers don't still try to come in, because of the fact that takers really like to go after givers. It also means that we as givers, we need to learn how to say no. And I think that was one of the steps for me anyway, that was a huge step positive, was to be able to just go, no, I'm very happy with giving where I'm giving at this point in time, when I recognized that, that particular person isn't part of the tribe.
Yep. And, the fourth insight just builds on this, because the fourth insight is we become aware of how we're interpersonally unconsciously taking from others. And that's the part of the book that's the favorite part, because it talks about control dramas that we sometimes passively, sometimes aggressively manipulate conversations to get what we want. And again, the way to handle that is to, the people that are takers are most short of inner security. They have to have energy. They have to demand energy from other people to feel powerful and feel better. It doesn't last very long, but it's what's wrong with the world, all the taking out there. If we shift to givers, the world would change immediately. And and to do it, though, is to do it for yourself, because your energy goes up, the little miracles happen in your life. Now, to go on to the fifth insight, that's the second most important in my view. Fifth insight is when you go to the energy source within you for security. And in these days, that's one of the main callings that we have to do, because suddenly all our routines have been collapsed. Maybe our income's being taken away. I mean, it's an insecure moment. But the way out of this is to spend some time with yourself. And a lot of people, they don't even want to be alone, much less meditate. I mean, oh my God, that's scary. But in that fear of just spending time alone, everything, any mental chatter that comes up, you let it go. It's only 10, 20 minutes. Let it go. Be with yourself. It's meditating. It's expanding your quiet mind and your ability to listen internally, because that's where the intuitive help comes from. So that's why everybody's meditating. I mean, it's everywhere, right? And what makes it even more powerful, though, is to also don't just let go of the mental chatter. That calms your mental side, but let go of the emotional chatter. What I should have said to the other person, how I was hurt. I'm still mad about how being hurt and by others, or let that chatter go. Let those feelings go and concentrate on feeling the emotion of love without an object. It's called agape love. Yeah, we've all felt love for a child, for a parent, for our first puppy, a first blush of romance as a teenager. We know what love feels like, but we think that we always have to have an object. It's a state of emotional state we have to practice. And once the heart opens, then that's the greatest emotional stability that you can have, because you're sustained by this love. The negative emotions bounce around. So this takes some effort. You have to prove this to yourself, and that to be real, and it is. The sixth insight is when the longer you meditate, you start getting this intuitive guidance. And at first, it's just to do something to prepare yourself. It's intuitive guidance of an interest that you suddenly think about that, oh man, and a synchronicity will happen. If you follow your guiding intuitions logically, that's important. Don't quit the job and move to Australia before you actually have some kind of income over there, logically, but act on it as the best you can with your logic, and try to act on the intuition. What happens is that's when these synchronicities happen more often, because you're putting yourself in a place. If the intuitions go to the library and see what happens. Wait for something to happen. Always, you'll see somebody, a book will jump out at you, whatever it is. This is the enlightening mystery of life unfolding. And again, we know this is real because we know how to do it. The seventh insight is when you realize that there's a mechanism, your intuitive guidance, as I just said, is if you act on it, a synchronicity will occur. And then it's important to know what question that brings up. So if a synchronicity takes you down your journey, there's always going to be a question. Well, what do I do now? How do I solve this problem? How do I solve that problem? You'll get an intuitive hit of what to do, and then another synchronicity will happen. So it's a flow. We're looking for a flow synchronicity. Eighth insight is one of the most important, because if you're depressed, if you give energy to another, just forget, maybe too tense to meditate, because it's scary for whatever reason. It's scary now for a lot of people. Just go try to help another person. You can do it online. You can do it wherever you can, but there's a precise way that you give energy, and that is to make sure that you are intending for energy to come into you and out to them. This is love energy. This is agape inspired energy that comes out, goes into another person. Now, they may not even feel it right away, but if you're in a conversation, if you look for their higher self, their wisdom, the expression on their face that where they're connecting with their own intuitive guidance and all that comes with that. What happens is sometimes they'll pop into a higher conscious just for the first time, just by talking to you. That's why when you talk to people giving energy and looking for the genius behind the eyes of the other person, they'll pop into that. And, they may As soon as you leave, they may not hold on to it, but it's an energy that is fills you up first. That's it. So it's a healing, energizing thing to do, to give people energy, and to remember to do it every time. That's the flow.